This video is brought to you by Miniature Market. Thousands of board games, miniatures, and paints, discount prices at miniaturemarket.com.
It's Helen sitting in for Rob. We're here at BGG Spring with Doc Cummins, and he's going to show us Decision Games' newest title, Bleeding Kansas.
Hello! So this is Bleeding Kansas. Bleeding Kansas is the first game from Decision Games that is going to be using Euro-style mechanics for a war game. And Bleeding Kansas covers the period just prior to the American Civil War. In fact, the Kansas-Nebraska Act and the conflict that occurred afterwards was the precipitating event for the American Civil War. So in the game, the players are controlling the two factions, the southern factions that were pro-slavery and the northern factions, the abolitionists that were anti-slavery. At the same time, Kansas had been open for migration. So migrations are coming through Kansas, people are settling into the area, as well as passing through. In the game, each side controls one of the factions, either the blue or the brown, the butternuts. And they're basically trying to control the counties that have settlements already in place in order to score points during elections. They can also score points for the markers that are on the tracks, and they can also score a point for certain card combinations. Each turn, a player gets to play a card, and based on the action icons that are on the card, they're able to take one of those actions. So, for example, the little crossed rifle and saber allows the player to have a skirmish, which allows them, wherever there are faction cubes from both sides, to attack the other side to try and push them out of that area or remove their cubes. So there are various actions that you're able to play. I just mentioned skirmish. There's also burning, which allows you to burn down your opposing faction's towns to destroy their influence. You can also engage in politics, which is placing a marker out, and that represents the politics of the legislature for the territory, as well as influencing members of Congress, Senate, and the president. There's also an action that allows migration. So the migrants are all represented by the white cubes that are out here. They would all move one county west. There's also influence, which allows you to try to influence the migrants that are in an area with the same faction and change them. So a successful influence would turn this white cube into one of the brown cubes. So that increases their power in that area. There's also movement that allows you to move cubes from one county to another. And there's cooperation, which allows you to remove the burn markers or to move the federal troops cube, which allows some sense of protection. It means no actions can occur in that county. So overall, the player's trying to accumulate points, largely through the elections, but also through some other actions. And basically, we're working through the 4 elections that occurred before Kansas was accepted as a new state, and the 1860 election that led to Lincoln's election and the immediate secession of the southern states.
So that sounds great. So what's the kind of overall feel of the game? What are we trying to emulate here?
Right. So, as opposed to a traditional kind of hex and counter war game, we've adopted the mechanics that are usually used in Euro games to this conflict situation. So there's no actual kind of elimination of the other side, specific objectives of destroying cities, capturing objectives, destroying the other army. It's more about scoring points. And the points effectively are the swaying of public opinion about the whole issue of slavery versus abolition, as it was going to be carried out in the westward expansion. As a game, though, the rest of the story here is that within the deck of cards, all of the events from this period are spelled out, the characters, and so you can actually learn the entire history with the cards, just reading through the cards while you're playing or separately. So the game's really well designed for a homeschool situation or a small classroom situation as well. And that's part of our intent. And we do intend to go on and make more games that are covering American history, both military situations as well as political.
So that was Bleeding Kansas by Decision Games. It's a political Euro meets war game. Great for homeschool, great for you if you're a war gamer, or
Great for you,
Euro gamer. Huh?
Great for you.
Great for me, because I have never played war games, and this one actually sounds really neat. So thank you, Doc. It's been a pleasure. And where can we find this?
You can find this at decisiongames.com or at our booth at any of the conventions this summer.
Excellent. Thanks so much.